Yo, Hendo here with Average Dude Slow-Pitch. Today, we're bringing you the entire new Easton Resmondo line. That's right, we're gonna bring you all 5 of these today. We're gonna go ahead and throw about 75 to 100 swings on all of these. Obviously, we're not gonna make you sit back and watch all of those. So we'll post up a handful of swings on each bat throughout the video. We'll get velo as well. All of these started out new in wrapper today, other than our one-piece Great Cannell. This one we had about 50 to 75 swings on from the one-piece comparison video that you may have already seen. And if you stay tuned, you'll see a full-length video for the one-piece as well here in the near future. But what we've got for you is we've got a 13.5-inch balanced resi. We've got a 12.5-inch mother load resi. Purple one here is going to be our 12.5 loaded Lady Resmondo. And then right here, we've got the 12.75 loaded Resmondo. And lastly, as most people have seen, hype's kind of all over it right now, the one-piece. It's a 12.5 Great Cannell signature bat. We're going to go ahead and get your swings on these. We're out here. Donna Anna, we've been having some issues with field reservations lately, so that's why you see us back out here and not at Apodaca, but we wanted to get these out to you so you can make a decision, as these are expected to kind of restock here in the very near future, so you'll have an idea of which ones you want to pick up. So let's go ahead, get your swings, get your velo, final compression, and then we'll come back for final thoughts. All right, let's throw our 2024 resi line here on the tester real quick before we swing them. Again, we're going to throw them all on tape here just so you can kind of see the comparison between them all. Up first, 13.5-inch barrel balanced resi. I'm anticipating these are all tested generally the same, as they should all be the same tech, but that's what we're here to find out. Let it sit at 0. And 280, maybe slightly higher than 280, so definitely some wiggle room there to break in the 13.5. Up next, we got the Lady Resmondo. This is a 12.5-inch barrel loaded model. This is set at 0. And that one is 270, maybe 275. So again, pretty similar. I don't think we'll see a major difference in any of these. The only one we have here that already has swings on is the one-piece resi you'll see here shortly, and that has about 50 swings, so that'll have a slight difference, but either way. This one, 12.75-inch barrel, loaded model as well. This is gonna be the same barrel length as like the one-piece Tantrum last year, but obviously this is a 2-piece model. Set at 0. 275. 275 is kind of that magic number you like to see with a lot of these. Then we got a 12.5-inch mother load Resmondo. So this is going to be the same as kind of that all pink, or the pink Tantrum from last year, as far as barrel length and obviously it being a mother load. And 275. And lastly, we've got the one-piece resi Great Cannell edition. Obviously, there's a bunch of hype on this one now. You'll see this one if you've already watched the video. This is in the one-piece comparison video we've have out as well. But again, about 50 swings already on this one. And it's still testing at 260, 265. So plenty of wiggle room. We'll get swings on these and then come back for final thoughts. All right, as we mentioned, we're gonna get the whole resi line out there today. Obviously, we have the one piece. We're gonna save this one for last. The remainder are 2 pieces, so that's really what we're looking at to truly compare against. Again, if you saw our previous video, this one was in that one-piece comparison we dropped not too long ago, so go back, take a look there. You'll also see a full-length video of this one dropping here before long as well. But with these 4, we're out here. It's about 7:30 in the morning, so sun's coming up a little bit. It's gonna warm up, starting out about 45, 50 degrees now. By the time we're done, we're expecting about 60, 65. So we'll get swings in all of them, and then we'll come back, velo, final compression, get you our final thoughts. Well, it's got a good sound, that's for sure. I can't tell really if we caught the sweet spot yet. We're only a couple swings in, but good sound for the most part on the hands. Not a whole lot of feedback yet, so we'll see as we get more swings. Yeah, based on the hand feel, I'd imagine I caught that one a little low. Yeah, that's got to be the sweet spot. I mean, there's absolutely no feel in the hands in that one. Ball just comes off of it. It's coming off okay. Hopefully as we get more swings on it, it'll jump a little bit better. But again, this is a 13.5-inch barrel balanced. So me, not a real fan of long barrels in the first place, and I don't really swing balance. So we got kind of both those going against us. But all right, hopefully you can hear that on the camera too. That was the first one. That was 100% the sweet spot. Completely different sound. I feel like I caught a little higher up. I can't say specifically, but I think this might be the ball mark for it. So, sweet spot's definitely hot. I mean, that one out past our lights. We're about 10 feet behind home, so that puts us at about 360, 370s. But we'll keep swinging. Hope that opens up. Again, between kind of the two of us that have swung so far, plus we'll have Alec come up here. We'll see, but we haven't heard that sound a lot, so I'm starting to think the sweet spot starts small at that 275 number. As we bring it down, hopefully it'll open up. Yeah, so it feels pretty good. Again, we got a bunch of bats here, so we're gonna swap between the sweet spot. As you saw there, when you catch it, it goes. I do feel like I only caught the sweet spot truly one time as far as sound change, so probably need some swings to open up. We'll come back velo, so it'll have 75-ish swings on it. We'll go kind of from there, but good feel, pretty forgiving. None of them stung the hands, anything like that. Relatively good feedback. You caught it lower or higher, you can kind of tell where you caught it. So good start to it. Just know a little closer to the older Eastons where you need some swings to open it up. It's not going to be like one-piece tantrum hot out of the wrapper. 12.5 loaded, so same barrel length as the mother load, but the Lady Resi is going to be just loaded versus obviously the other one's mother load. This one immediately feels better. Yeah, so first thing I noticed with this one from the balance was the shorter barrel loaded, whatever it is. Different sound from the start. Most of the barrel sounds a lot more like the sweet spot kind of sounded with the balance, so that's kind of nice. Sweet spot's been a little easier to find so far. Ball's jumping off pretty good. But again, I find the shorter barrel Eastons are typically performing a little better, you know, from what we've seen in the past. So we'll continue going and see what we got. All sorts of knuckleballs this time. That sweet spot's still small though. Like, there's only been one that I feel like has truly caught the sweet spot. So again, I just think this line of Resis is just gonna need some swings, which there's nothing wrong with that. My guess is based on starting 275, we're talking less than 100 swings. So we'll keep going and see how it opens up and see where we're at by the time we get to velo. That's the sweet spot though. Yeah, so you can see there's your sweet spot performance. So out here in a hurry, left, left, center type of thing. Obviously more left than the center, but so good sweet spot. Again, some swings. This thing I think will open up. We're gonna go ahead and move over to the 12.5, the mother load. So same barrel length as the Lady Resi. However, obviously we're with the more of an end load. All right, 12.5, mother load. Yeah, so the first couple swings, we found kind of a middle ground between that 13.5 balance and then the Lady Resi. So even though same barrel length as Lady Resi, the barrel sounds different. It feels a little bit softer than that Lady Resi. So sweet spot itself, as you saw there, still good. Ball comes off good. Doesn't feel quite as forgiving as the Lady Resi at this point, but not quite as soft of a barrel as maybe that balance. So we'll keep throwing swings on it, see how it opens up, but still feels good. Ball's coming off good, but like the previous two, sweet spot starts small. Yeah, just missed the sweet spot, I think, based on sound and feel, but carried pretty good. Landed right at the base of the 330 fence, which from here is about 340, being 10 feet back. Yeah, so we're pretty much the same thing we've had the previous ones. I mean, they feel good so far, good on the hands, all of them. Relatively forgiving. However, to get that max kind of exit velo, you've got to catch, no kidding, the sweet spot, which on all of them has started a little bit small. You saw at the last one, you see the sweet spot potential. That ball carried just the other side of our berm, which is a pretty good shot there. So we'll measure it out. A little bit softer, like we said, than the Lady Resi. Not as soft as 13.5. We'll go ahead, jump over to the last of our two pieces. We got the 12.75 inch loaded, and then we'll come back, finish up with the one piece. All right, 12.75 loaded. Yeah, every barrel's felt different. I can tell you right now, the first swing that was different than the rest. So 3 swings in, whatever it is with this one for me, this reminds me of last year's model's tantrums. The barrel feels 100% different than the other 3. It's coming off good. Good feedback. Sweet spot already feels somewhat larger. We'll try to lift a couple, see how that goes, but kind of nice to know all 3 barrels are different, or 4 so far, have felt different to the point that now you can make a decision on which one you want to buy. And obviously by the end of this, we'll kind of hopefully help you make that decision. Yeah, much bigger sweet spot to start on this one. Yeah. Yeah, so the 4 2 pieces, the 12.75 is just different of them all. Whether it's going from that 13.5 inch balance, then the 12.5 we had before that, this one obviously meets in the middle. So somewhere between that middle ground, the barrel feels different, jumps off. Sweet spot feels a whole lot hotter and bigger to start. So again, the other 3, I think, as you get more swings, that sweet spot's gonna open up. We saw the potential for the sweet spots, but if you want something that's gonna be hotter out of the wrapper, remind you of last year's 2-piece tantrums, it's gonna be the 12.75. All right, like we said, we'll finish up with the 1 piece here, just because it's obviously different than the rest. Again, if you've seen the previous videos, you've kind of been able to tell this thing performs great at this point. I think it unseats the tantrum from last year, the 1 piece, which is saying a lot compared to a lot of people thinking that's their 1-piece goat last year. So let's get our swings on it, and then we'll throw everything on velo. One hot pair blue building. Again, for a bat testing at 260, it's insane how hot this thing is.
To Spain? Just like Weddle said, he probably has family, that's why they invited him.
Yeah, there's just no comparison between this one and the 2 pieces. Whether it's between the stiffer handle, just different barrel, different sound, everything. Oh, over a little berm, nice. But as we've already mentioned, you saw it in the previous videos, this thing's kind of the one that's going to take down that 1-piece tantrum in my opinion. So velo, we'll get all these out there for you and then kind of talk to them at the end.
"99 miles per hour. 95 miles per hour. 102 miles per hour.
Yeah, and there's that sweet spot when you catch it just right. So, good numbers there. Let's go ahead. We'll swap over to the mother load. All right, mother load.
98 miles per hour. 99 miles per hour. 102 miles per hour. 98 miles per hour.
Yeah, much easier to find the sweet spot on them. It feels a lot better to me than it did obviously round 1. So we'll keep throwing swings on. From here, we're gonna go ahead and jump over to our Lady Resi 12.
103 miles per hour. 103 miles per hour. 96 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, same story. All of them just, seems like all of them just needed some swings to really open up. The Lady Resi barrel still feels great. Now to my favorite of the two pieces, the 1275 loaded.
101 miles per hour. 101 miles per hour.
That's
102 miles per hour.
It's very consistent too.
97 miles per hour.
Yeah, good sweet spot on it. Again, this one, I don't feel like it's changed much from the start. It started pretty hot, still feels good. We'll switch over lastly to the one-piece resi, and then we'll get those final compressions.
101 miles per hour. 100 miles per hour. 100 miles per hour.
I mean, it feels great. We'll talk a little bit about the velo numbers here shortly in the final thoughts. Let's get these on the tester, see what we're all testing, but good batch of bats. All of them pretty much get hotter with swings. This one's been gassed for pretty much swing number one.
All right, and due to how many swings we put on those resis there at the field and with how much warmer it was getting as the day kind of went on, rather than testing them after they'd been hit and baking in the sun, we decided to bring them back here to the house, let them sit for it's been about 6-7 hours since we swung them, and now we're gonna go ahead and throw them on the tester, see where they're at, and give you kind of final thoughts. Before we do so, just to knock it out of the way, calibration 350 plus or minus 25, just to make sure we're good to go. In this instance, if it ever doesn't calibrate, honestly, I wouldn't know what to do other than have to call the manufacturer and get it serviced. So, and we're at 360, 365. So within the calibration that needs to be there as well. But for the sake of it, I'm gonna go ahead and run it one more time just to make sure it wasn't touching the walls or anything like that. It is a little specific with how they want you to knock that out. So let's get it onto 0. Okay, cool, yep. And just over 350. So both of those well within the ranges, and this one basically spot on the ranges of where it's supposed to be. Once again, that's that 350 plus or minus 25. So let's go ahead and test these. We're gonna start with the Lady Resmondo. All of them will do USSSA stamp up for some consistency here as well. Again, 100 swings on all the two pieces and about 200 on the one piece due to the full length video we've got coming out for that one. And the one piece comparison video that you probably or may have seen recently. Let that sit at 0. And we are dead on 240, maybe a tick above it. So right at 100 swings, we're sitting right at that pass line. So with how good that one felt, I would probably recommend making that just a gamer out of the wrapper. Maybe get used to it with 52s, but I would definitely not put a bunch of swings on it. Who knows how long it'll sit at 240. Now the 12.75 loaded. That sit at 0. And this one is right at a tick under 240, so probably 235. So it is failing. Again, with 100 swings and how good this one felt out of the wrapper, it did remind me of last year's Tantrums. So I definitely, again, not a BP bat, make the Lady Resi and that 12.75 Resi your kind of straight out of the wrapper gamers. And if you really want to BP them, use some 52s and stop kind of at that. Now we've got the 12.5 inch motherload. USSSA stamp up, make sure it's straight and even. Let that sit at 0. And this one's pretty much right on 250, so still a little bit of wiggle room, which kind of makes sense. This one definitely felt more like it was opening up during the velo, so I would put probably that 75 to 100 swings on it, get it so it feels good to you, and then put it away and game it basically until it fails. And again, all of this depends on whether or not you care about compression testing or not. This is our 13.5 inch balance. This one to me took the longest to kind of open up and feel good, which is surprising because this one's sitting right on 220, barely above it. So for the fact that it's that low, it just surprises me a little bit with the fact that I think this one felt like I had the least pop out of the batch. But again, personal preference there. Talk a little more about it in the final thoughts. And lastly, the one piece Resi, the Grey Cannell. Again, this one has about 200 swings versus the rest that have 100, so just something to keep in mind there. And dead on 240, right at 200 swings. So we'll talk about it again, like we said here shortly, but as you probably saw in the showdown video as well,
That one felt great pretty much right out of the wrapper, so it definitely doesn't need BP swings, anything like that. So it's kind of nice to see the 200 swings in. We're still right at passing. But let's go ahead, move over and talk about it in the final thoughts. All right, and we're field swings, velo test, compression test complete here with the 2024 Resi line. And we'll kind of go through each one just real quick, just kind of our thoughts on each of them. But basically starting out here with the Lady Resi. For this one, it reminded me a little bit of last year's Tantrums. Obviously a little bit of a different feel there, but it was good out of the wrapper. Sweet spot was good, had pretty good forgiveness as far as getting kind of that extra pop away from the sweet spot. And then it only took probably 40, 50 swings in for it to really feel like this thing was game ready, barrel was good, and you could get kind of consistency out of it. It had a good feel in the hands, good feedback, so you knew kind of where you caught the ball. And then for being that 12.5-inch barrel, which I think that 12.5 to 12.75 is kind of the sweet spot for the Eastons, the ball really kind of jumped off. As you saw at the velo, a little bit lower than we've seen with some of the other bats out there, but for whatever reason I found that in the past, and I don't have a reason for this, I'm not a bat engineer or anything like that, but we don't quite get the same exit velos with the Easton as we see with other ones, but for how well they perform on the field, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But these were getting out there just fine. The ball was carrying when you caught it right. When you put the lift on it, the ball went pretty easily. So the loaded 12.5 Lady Resi was one of my favorites. This was probably number 3 out of the batch of 5. If we're only counting it against the 2 pieces, then it's my second favorite of them. Right behind actually the 12.75 loaded. So this one did remind me a lot of the loaded and or the mother load from last year's Tantrum line. Straight out of the wrapper, felt great. Had a completely different sound than the other 3 2 pieces. Sweet spot was already really, really large. And then all it really took was 20-ish swings to kind of get comfortable with it, and the ball was kind of flying off there. Good feedback. You could hear the different sound changes based on where you caught it, which I also really like, so you know that, hey, maybe you won't get kind of a sting on the hands, but I still know I caught it low, I caught it high, whatever it might be. For these Resis too, something that if you didn't swing the Tantrum line last year, all of them have a different flex rating here on the handles, which I think kind of obviously makes a little bit of a difference. So this is going to be a flex 180 on this one versus the Lady Res is a flex 120. And so if you look at those on the website, it should be basically least stiff to stiffness type of thing as well. And so like when we get up to the one piece, this one doesn't even have kind of the flex rating on there because this is going to be more of a traditional feel on a one piece. This reminds me a lot of kind of a wood baseball bat type of feel with the way it jumps off, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here shortly. But jumping from there, we've got what was my number 3 out of the 2 pieces, another flex 180, which kind of makes sense. It felt a lot like the 12.75 except with a slightly shorter barrel. For whatever reason though, the mother load didn't have the same kind of pop or feel as the Lady Resi, even though they're both 12.5-inch barrels. So that's where for me, I don't know how much of a difference the flex ratings really make, because the 12.75, which has the same flex rating here as the mother load, felt the best of the batch. But then as far as barrel length being the same as the Lady Resi, this one then fell behind the Lady Resi for me. So just kind of something to keep in mind. The barrel felt a little bit softer on this one, but around that 100 swing mark, it did start to feel good, forgiving, get good feedback, things like that. But as you saw with the compression test, you're not going to have a lot of wiggle room after that 100 swings compression wise. So if that's something you care about, just know that I would swing 52s on this, get comfortable with it, make sure you understand kind of where that sweet spot is, and as long as you're feeling pretty consistent with it, then go ahead and game it at that point. If you don't care about testing, then obviously keep swinging it. I'm sure it's only going to get hotter and hotter. And then finally, the last of the 2 pieces, and honestly my least favorite out of them all, this was the 13.5 balanced Resi. This one is a flex 120. So this is where I kind of talking about Lady Resi is also a flex 120. For me, those ratings don't make a significant difference. I didn't really notice a huge difference in the flex from one to the next. But for this one, whether it's the longer barrel, whatever it might be, the barrel just felt really soft. Ball didn't really jump off of it too well. By the time we got 100 swings in, it did start to feel better, but it was still, for me, performance-wise, the lowest out of all the 2 pieces, and then obviously below the 1-piece Cannell as well. But it also tested the lowest out of all of them. So that kind of surprised me a little bit there. So if you are a balance fan though, maybe you'll like this a little bit more than me. I'm by no means a balance fan. Typically don't like long barrels either. But for the guys out the field with us as well, for Mario, he kind of agreed. He wasn't a gigantic fan of this one. But again, it's all personal preference. So if you are a balance fan, you've been an Easton fan, don't be afraid to kind of pick this one up, get some swings on it with like those 52s, figure out where that kind of sweet spot is, and then once you've got that kind of locked in, you can use this one. It still was forgiving. While you're not getting the highest exit velos off of this, we were still getting 99 plus type of thing. So I mean, it's going to get the job done, especially again, it's all personal preference. It's great if a sweet spot will get you 105, 106, 107 plus, but if you don't find your sweet spot more than 10% of the time, you're going to care a whole lot more about the forgiveness than the no kidding top exit velo there. And so we pretty much just do the exit velos to show kind of how the sweet spot performs. And then for the averages, that's to let you see kind of what's the forgiveness on those. And then lastly, we've already talked about this one a little bit. You'll see a full length video here on this one as well as you saw it previously on the one piece comparison video. But the Easton Resi Grey Canal one piece, starting off, it is a much stiffer one piece than a lot of the ones out there right now. It feels more like a wood baseball bat without quite the sting on your hands when you miss. It is still incredibly forgiving. As you might have seen on our previous video with the one piece comparison, this one with 52s was launching 52s out of our baseball field with ease. And then as soon as we switched to Classic M's, Pro-M, or no Classic M's, sorry, just Pro-M's, the ball was flying off of it as well. The field exit velo was a little bit down. Obviously it could be the heat. It could be I mean, this thing was sitting out there for a little while away from the other ones. It can just be the day-to-day kind of swings for myself and then Mario out there. But if you go back and watch the one-piece comparison, you'll see that off the tee inside of the clubhouse, this thing got up to 108, if I'm not mistaken, with Pro-Ms, and 105, I believe, with 52. So the ball absolutely cooking off of the barrel here. Again, that's kind of what I go back to with the Eastons have, for me at least in the past, not performed great on the velo side at the fields, but they perform great as far as the live swings, and then we get them off the tee, they usually compare. So for whatever reason that might be, just something kind of keep in mind. I've never really gamed too many Eastons, so that could also be it as well, just a comfortability type of thing, so just kind of keep that in mind. But again, if you're a one-piece fan, you're looking for something that's going to be one of the hotter bats on the market and is actually showing that it's holding compression pretty well. Again, 200 swings in, it's still passing. This is going to be the one to go with. It's a 12.5 inch barrel. It is loaded, so it's got like a ½ ounce end load. This thing feels great. The only problem you're going to run into is these are super limited right now. They keep dropping them in small batches. So if you're looking for these, you might have to pay kind of a premium to find one of them on kind of the private market. We don't have any for you to buy at this time, but as you're looking for any of these resis, we do have kind of a hookup for you. Mike Dill over there with Rawlings, so Easton Sports as well, who hooked us up with all of these to let us kind of bring this video to you. He's also going to be the connect that we're going to kind of go through to get you squared away. As of now, none of kind of the affiliate links we've got currently carry the Resmondo line. So if you're looking to pick one of these up, reach out to us as normal in the comments, any of the social medias, averagedudeslowpitch.com. We'll get you squared away. Or if you want to go direct with Mike, he's allowed us to throw his phone number. It's down in the description of the video. Just shoot him a text, let him know, hey, we saw the Average Dudes video, they sent us over to you, we're looking to pick up, and then whichever resi bat it is. And with that, like I said, he's with Rawlings, so we can also hook you up with Easton, Worth, Mikan. So if there's anything you want to pick up that you can't find in our affiliate links and you kind of want to go just one-on-one to him, just go ahead, reach out to him, let him know you kind of saw this video. He'll get you squared away at the best prices. He's very quick with the shipping, fast communication, all that kind of stuff. So don't hesitate to work with Mike. He'll make sure you're squared away. And if you want us to kind of play middleman, help you out, again, just reach out to us. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's pretty informative for you. Lets you make a decision on which of these you may want or not want, depending. If you have additional questions, let us know. We'll get you squared away. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Thanks for supporting the channel. We appreciate it.